at Sporting Globe in Rockingham. We had a great night. Unfortunately, the results weren't great, but it was a good night. A few people were there, a few baggers, caught up with Liam and Sammy and Kayla and a few other people. It was a great night. Yeah. What did you do for the game?
Not a lot. I went out, had a good day at the zoo, enjoyed some quality time with my little girl and my wife, and I set it to record, so I watched it when I got home and went downhill from there. It was a great day out until I started watching the footy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Howdy, guys. Thanks for joining us. It's Carlton Live Western Bar here. Frank and Simone, we appreciate you joining us. We were just chatting about what we did to watch the game. We'd love to hear what you guys did to watch the game. If you were in your safe home, wherever you threw.
Your safe place.
You're up for the damages, or if you're in a bar where...
You're also up for the damages.
Yeah. So those of you who've jumped on for the first time, he's Frank, I'm Simone. We're in WA, and we do this show for the baggers in WA, and of course anyone across Australia who wants to tune in. We're not your regular armchair experts.
I am.
I'm definitely not. I'm here for the shits and giggles. And look, to be fair, after the weekend's efforts, I think there's been plenty of armchair experts thrown around.
Every man and his dog.
And look, in all fairness, we're all a little bit miserable, and I think we just want to have a bit of a laugh. Would you agree?
Yep. I mean, we've all sort of had the last couple of days on the socials and different groups and given our opinions and who did what and what was terrible and what wasn't. But that's sort of a bit out of my system now anyway. So we'll have a bit of a laugh, and we'll go through bits and pieces from the game and have some highlights, have some lowlights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Usual suspects for Rude Lid and Goose of the Week, but
so hang on, because make sure you hang around, because we've got some beauties for nominations for Rude Lid.
Yeah.
As those of you who've tuned in before, we do a little bit of a Rude Lid of the Week award. So that's some of our more handsome creatures that we watch in the footy.
And we're certainly not ugly shaming people, because we've got a pair of rude heads ourselves.
Yeah, so we're the experts of rude heads.
Yeah.
And also we'll have Goose of the Week, and there are loads of nominations this week.
Goose of the Week's always a popular one.
Yeah. Look, to be honest, I think we'd have had more excitement if we watched the royal funeral on Saturday night.
It wasn't great.
Look, and to be fair, I don't think the royal family were as upset as we were. The dude was 99. He had a good run.
Yeah, 99 not out.
Good on him. But look, I think we found out where we really are Saturday night, Frank.
And it's nowhere. Yeah,
and
it's absolutely nowhere.
And I noticed even prior to our game, I don't know how many of you had a look at the Suns game, and they were absolutely getting flogged. And I think it was a good indication of where we were at before we even started against Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Pearl. You're at the MCG and left early. I don't blame you.
No, just disappointed. You got them good reading glasses on again. And left very disappointed. Left early.
Sorry, I shouldn't. No, she left disappointed.
We don't leave early. We sit there and sook.
But I think one of the things that'll feature in Goose of the Week, I noticed watching the tally the empty spaces in the stadium in the second half.
Yeah. Well, I can't say I did, but
can't imagine there'd be too many Port Adelaide fans at the MCG.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. No.
Or that they'd leave early.
They would 100% leave early. They thought, we can get out of here. If they're getting pants, they're getting out early, and they're going to nick someone's car on the way
out. Pearl, yes, you didn't leave early. I apologise for that. I misread. My glasses do need checking.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Trev. Prince Philip could have kicked straighter than some of our boys.
Wasn't it terrible though?
It was shocking.
For the most part, it looked like a dog fucking a cricket ball. It was horrible. It really was. We've got different highlights and lowlights, but all in all, it was, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, look, there was a couple of times where I absolutely, genuinely, hand on my heart, believe that I could have kicked straighter.
Yeah, and you could have.
And one of the fellows I was with goes, yeah, but can you run? No, I'll just...
no one said anything about running.
No, there's no running. I'll just stand in the forward square and just kick the goals.
Yeah,
that's all.
Take the big hangs and then kick the big goals.
Yeah, something like that. Thanks for joining us, Dave Thomason. Rushing home for the royal funeral. Yeah, look.
Don't blame you.
It was a big day. Old mate, as Trev said, could have kicked straighter.
Yeah, we should have wheeled him out for one more game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Some of our players were socially distancing from the opposition. Yeah, I thought Melbourne's COVID restrictions had backed off, but clearly not.
No.
On the park.
No. It's crazy.
No. Look, what did you enjoy about it, Frank?
Yeah, crickets. Sam Welsh, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't much else. I mean, look, there was some nice things to take out. There was, Sam Welsh's goal. He managed to tighten his own angle up, run towards the boundary line and still bang it 50 metres or thereabouts and nail a good goal. That was quite, and Cottrell's classy snap. That was...
I loved it.
That was brilliant. And look, there was glimmers in between. I mean, I saw Sam Doherty take one beautiful mark, running back with the flight again, and we just couldn't get the boys G'd up.
No.
Little things like that just need to G the boys up to
every time you thought, like, the first quarter clearly was yep, we're in this. Second quarter, no, we're not. But we could still come back.
Yeah.
And I remember at half-time going, I really hope that Teague rips them all a new one. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't.
I don't reckon he did. I don't reckon Teague's got it anyway. I mean, obviously we're not privy to those sort of behind-door conversations, but give us your thoughts. Can Teague rip these guys a new enough to get them back on board? Because, yeah, it didn't look like it. The shoulders were down. You could see by the way the boys are just ambling after. I mean, giving away cheapies behind the play and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know. The Teague's got it in him. No, and then it just got worse and worse as the game went on.
Look, it wasn't all doom and gloom Saturday night, Frank. You weren't there. You couldn't make it this week. For those of you in WA, Frank and I usually get together with a group of us at the Sporting Globe in Rockingham, or sometimes in Mandurah. And they had a deal of $8 pints. So
you drank 12 of them.
Yeah, so it wasn't all doom and gloom. The beer was cheap.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the cheap beer. So no, you went to the footy. There's no cheap beer there.
No. And the other thing I remember at the end of the game, one of the other screens at the Sporting Globe was showing the Essendon game. And when we're bitching and moaning about our game, I looked over and I go, at least we're not Essendon.
Yeah. Or Collingwood from the night before. I mean, they didn't get beaten by as much, but yeah, I like seeing Collingwood.
But it was nice,
I like seeing Collingwood get a pantsing. Don't worry about
that. Hey, Shane Van der Swart. Sorry if I've mispronounced that. Calling a knee-jerk reaction this week and possibly a win, only to go back to normal softness again the week after. What's your thoughts on that, Franco?
So he's calling that there will be a
knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, I mean, very likely. I mean, the last thing we want to do is have a knee-jerk reaction, but sometimes a knee-jerk reaction is better than no reaction.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't know about wholesale changes and dropping every man and his dog for kids that aren't ready or aren't deserving, but we've got, at least 2 or 3 ready to go straight in. They've been putting a good, solid, block of work together where they're, on top of it in the twos. And now's the time. We can't, we got to reward good behaviour, good games, good efforts in the twos. So it has to be rewarded at some point. So definitely.
Well, you would like to think so. I mean, I'm kind of a little bit over the whole rhetoric of, we need to fix this by, ins and outs or selecting different players. Or
teach them to bloody kick.
Or
that's one way you're going to fix it.
Well, that's it. Like, they can't kick for shit.
No.
No. And anyway, so the other point I was going to make is everyone's calling for the coach or calling for the assistant coaches. I'm not buying into that anymore. We've had so many of those quick fixes, if you like. I think
just
for mine,
no,
I think for mine that the players need a good red hot boot up the arse. Who are they playing for? Who are they playing for? They need to look in the mirror and ask themselves, who am I playing for?
The fans wanted to win more than they did. You could see that.
Yeah.
The fans wanted that win more than the players did. And that's terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Well, like I said, they need to look in the mirror and go, who am I playing for? And if the answer is contracts or Brownlow medal or so I can be the best player in the business, then they're not there for the right reason. The answer needs to be the jumper and the fans.
Yep.
If it's any other reason, they need to get off the park.
Yep. Yep.
So
and that then sort of brings you back to the ones that are playing for the jumper, albeit a VFL one, but they're still out there giving their absolute, in a twos game in front of 4 people in the crowd.
Absolutely.
You got to work it out. What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? What are you thinking then? Are we going to make just a couple of small changes, obvious ones, or are we going to go wholesale changes and start afresh?
No, I don't think we make a whole heap of changes.
Shock them into doing something.
I know there's a lot of talk about we need to put the proverbial foot down in the sense that enough's enough. If you don't perform, you're out.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if that's the case, that's a lot of outs this week. A lot of outs.
Yeah.
So that can't be the reason.
No. So you're saying wholesale changes isn't going to be the answer? No.
I think some of the players need some belief in themselves. They need more experience.
Yeah.
For mine, the only one that I'm 100% convinced needs to be out is Willow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if I can cop too much of the playing in the wrong positions thing. Like, sure enough, you're going to get players if they're playing out of position. They're not going to. But there was a couple of them, and not just Willow, but I mean, we just got nothing. And playing in the wrong position, sure, you might not play your best game, but you don't have to play your worst.
No.
No,
and I believe on paper we had a pretty good squad.
100%.
I looked at our back six and I went, nothing is getting through there. But yet,
all of the goals got through there.
I don't know what happened to that wall because it wasn't there.
And that takes you back to what you were saying before about who are we playing for? Are we playing for jumpers or are we playing for self, or are we playing for contracts or what? Because it was evident there that there was very little players playing for the jumper.
Yep.
Or the fans.
Yeah.
Because I said, I don't know, a couple of shows ago, or to some donkey at the pub, I don't know, but I said our back six is pretty good when you look at it.
Yep.
Sard, Doc, Wiedering, Jones, SPS. He's been playing a good couple of games lately, and then obviously it swaps out with Willow or whatever. But that's a solid back six.
We've got a solid.
Two key pillars in the two big fellas, and the running, rebounding, defending of Sard and Doc. That's quality backline. But we just got absolutely.
Even my boy Jonesy, who I love to death, was nothing doing.
Nothing
doing. Where were his marks? Where were his intercepts?
I'm pretty sure he turned up at the wrong ground and Jones lookalike turned up. I mean, and that was the thing with a lot of players. I mean, SPS didn't have the worst game, but the game before, we were sitting here patting ourselves on the back because you gave him a rev up and kicked his ass, and then he started playing good footy again. And
I'm sure it's because I said so.
He watches the show, don't worry.
Oh, no. Yeah, because
he said, no, these guys.
He's originally a WA boy, so he's going to follow everything from WA.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And you saw you.
And what you don't know about SPS is one of the preseason game here, when he was drafted, he didn't have a run that day, but he was there.
That was Subiaco, wasn't it?
Yeah, and all the fans were all around the other players getting autographs and all that. And I went, oh, hey, Samo, how you going? And he was stoked that someone actually recognised him.
Yeah, that was a big smile, that
one. Who have we got on? Thanks for joining us, Liam. Absolutely great night with you on Saturday night. Thanks for joining us in downtown Rocco. Hope it didn't hurt too much and you got back to Subi safely. Walshy was an absolute star. He was in my top 3, that's for sure.
Yeah, he was in everyone's top 3.
And we've got Mick Brazell. Thanks for joining us, buddy. What do you guys think Carlton Football Club board doesn't address the issue of an almost failed rebuild? The fans can see it. If the club don't address the fan concerns at all. Yeah, completely agree.
That's a great comment. It's a really sort of have a think about it comment, because we never see a lot of the Prez. I mean, he's known as not getting involved in day-to-day operations and things like that. He doesn't come out and we haven't heard a lot. I mean, we heard Kane. He was beating his chest about 80,000 members, which is an absolute ripper of a feat. 80,000 members, first time ever. But yeah, he's 100% right. That's a great call.
Yeah. Look, to be honest, I think Kane Little's doing a good job.
They are, but they've got to be a little bit more proactive.
We're sitting on 80,000 members, which is fantastic.
Off the field.
Do you know what's concerning me? There were many free memberships dished out.
Yeah.
Right, we're members, and we were able to give people we knew memberships, right, for free.
Yeah.
It's up to the 23 on the field, week in, week out, to convince those free members
to stay,
to pay next year.
Yeah.
If they're not week in, week out convincing them,
then
we might see a drop in our membership numbers next year.
We're probably going to anyway, I reckon, because of that whole free membership thing. But you're right. If our players pull their finger out of their ass and show that they are doing it for the jumper and
and us,
and our hard-earned money, then we're likely to get a good chunk of them members part of their hard-earned. Yeah.
Who else we got? Blake O'Halloran. Thanks for joining us, mate. Teague has it in him to go off. Why he chooses not to doesn't make sense. Yeah, I agree. He should have spittle coming out of his mouth.
Just one time, I want to see him eyeball these boys and go, hey, absolutely.
I want him to go, oi, what the fuck are you doing?
How good was
kick straight for one
when Parkin was coaching that jugular be out here, 6 inches off his throat as he's ranting and raving and carrying on. No, we want to see it once. We want to see it. He doesn't have to do it all the time. He doesn't have to come out and in the press, in the press conference post match. He doesn't need to come out and start singling out players as being poor or whatever.
Look, you can just give them all service as a collective group.
Absolute spray, just a lot of years of press.
I hope that he plays some of the rhetoric on social media, particularly when it talks about, or when we talk about, who are they playing for? Who are they playing for?
Yeah, and I said that after the Collingwood loss. I reckon they do a good job to pick out selectively some of the comments on social media and stuff, and show the players and say these are genuine people that have not only their time and effort in supporting these guys, but hard-earned money. And these guys,
and a lot of families can't afford it, just as much as All Sports Club suffered last year with COVID. And and we're all behind our club to say, righto, I'll put my money in my hand in my pocket.
Yeah,
but many families can't afford it.
Yeah.
So we need to see some success on the field.
Yeah.
Brett Klassen, thanks for joining us, mate. So angry and disappointed. Yeah, we're all with you, buddy.
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely depressing.
Absolutely heartbroken. I mean, when you break it down, we've played pretty poor.
Mm.
If all of the games we played this year, all 5 of them were rolled into one, it's a drubbing, because our best game was against Richmond.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got pantsed again by Collingwood. We won 2 scrappy games where we thought, oh, this can go either way.
Mm.
It's gone the wrong way, and now we're back to square one. Yep. Realistically.
Yeah. Look, it's depressing. I'm a little bit past angry, mate. I'm depressed now. You know, like yesterday, Frank and I were messaging each other going, all right, we need to prepare for this show. And I'm like, oh, God, is there any highlights?
$8 pints, apparently.
$8 pints is about all I could come up with.
Yeah.
And also, let's not forget, Lauren Arnell, inaugural captain of Carlton's AFLW, has finished up with holding the cup on the dais. Even though it's not in the Carlton jumper, you got to congratulate her. What a way to finish her career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
David Thomason, do our assistant coaches need to have a good hard look at themselves? Yep.
I reckon.
Yep. What are they doing it for?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's not just the players that are got to decide who they're playing for, and it's the coaches. Who are they coaching for?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, they're coaching the players. They're coaching for their jobs and things like that. But it's got to be about. I mean, the Carlton Football Club is more than just a job, and that's really grinds my fucking gears when footballers talk about it's our job, it's our profession. Yeah, it's your job, mate. Of course it is. But for fuck's sake, without fans, you don't have a job.
Without success on the field,
money, you got nothing. I mean.
We're paying their wages.
Yeah, of course we are.
The memberships, the AFL merchandise, the tickets.
Even if you're not a member, you still go to the games if you're over east, or the games we got here in Perth. I mean, they're still supporting the club.
You're right, Dave. We need all the administration, the players, the whole lot. They need to take a good look in the mirror and go, why am I doing this?
They need to have a coming to Jesus moment, and Jesus is the Carlton fucking Football Club.
And if the reason doesn't feature the jumper and the fans, they're in it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, 100%. Great point. But yeah, no one's immune to an ass kicking.
No, I think they should all get an ass kicking, and I actually think, we're all going, oh, no one's tough enough at Carlton to give the players an ass kicking. I think it's the fans. We go, oi, who are you heading?
Yeah.
You playing for me, or what are you doing?
Yeah.
John Rowe reckons, fuck them. Minimum 12 changes. What do you think?
Look, I'm torn. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I don't necessarily. I mean, Simone sort of said not so much with the wholesale changes. I don't know. What I do know is we need to reward games in the twos.
Yeah.
We've got a number of players, and I'll pick 3 sort of right off the top of my head, but there's others because I don't watch every game. I sort of read the reports and highlights and stuff. I'm sure there's others that are absolutely, tearing at a new one. We need to reward that, or else what message are we sending if we're holding back people like Stocker and Cunners and Ramsey and all these other boys that are playing good footy in the twos? We need to reward that. Otherwise, it sends the wrong message, and then people get even more complacent than they already are. And then, the Levis and the Dows and the Setterfields and all these other guys that have been sort of on the fringe, the SPSs and that, and they start getting even more comfortable with, I reckon. Yeah, no, I'm a bit torn, but yeah.
You quite, look, I can hear your point. Whilst I don't agree with, chucking the baby out with the bathwater, a good point you made when you spoke about Levi being on the fringe. When he makes it in your top 3, and it's not a go at him, but it's more so highlights what's wrong amongst the 23.
Yeah, that's an indictment, I reckon. I mean, no disrespect to Levi.
No.
Because the way he's been going it hasn't been great, but it's a little bit of an indictment on some of your other on-field leaders and top quality players when Levi's getting in your top 3 for the day. So
absolutely,
especially given the way he's been playing, because he didn't have that good a game. I mean, he kicked a couple of nice goals and he was a bit more of a target than what he had been in recent games, but he didn't.
I think why he makes my top 3 is because you know, when no one knew how...
Oh, the double. You like the double cobra, didn't you?
No, that's not even why.
Those big gun. Yes, that's why.
No.
That's why he's in my top.
When they're struggling to convert, you just go, oh, look, there's a dude that's kicked 2.
Yeah. One of them came off his shin and was like, but it still went in, so...
And look, Brett Klassen agrees with you. I think it's time to play the kids. No point playing the oldies and not moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
Sydney's having a great time with the kids, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Yep. A lot of people will say though, playing the kids when they're not ready is detrimental. I don't think so. I mean, unless they're really a lamb to the slaughter, then okay, maybe it is a bit detrimental. But if they're putting together 2 or 3 games in the 2s, they're playing really well. You've got half your side in the ones that don't know, you know, who they're playing for. Yeah, chuck the kids in. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? They play a couple of terrible games, and you give them a bit of things to work on, and back in the 2s. You can't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit torn, but I reckon definitely more than 2 or 3 changes need to take place. Unfortunately, and that does involve dropping some people that probably, based on this one game alone, don't deserve to be dropped. It's going to have to happen. Maybe
you're quite right. Maybe that's how we get them to get that mental shift on who they're playing for, the jumper and the fans. Maybe if they are booted back in the 2s for non-performance, they realise it's not just about me. So Trev says he watched the replay. Oh, God, I don't know how you did because I couldn't bring myself to it.
No.
We played shit and kicked shit. Yep, I was clear on that. Yeah. We were like deer in the headlights against a top contender and last year's minor premiers. It's not total doom and gloom. Coach needs to take a fair whack, I think.
Definitely does. Trev's always got some good points, but I would be very much, it's not all doom and gloom if the previous 3 games were any good. But let's be realistic, they weren't. If
we'd smashed things out the park, I mean,
we didn't even need to smash things out the park. I mean, we beat Freo and we did it with a little bit of grit.
But let's be realistic, they were witches' hats.
Yeah.
In fact, they were us.
Yeah. Yep.
What we put on Saturday
against
is
any other team,
what they were.
Yeah, we would not have beaten many other teams if we'd have played the way we played Gold Coast and Freo, because they were woeful. We were just, not as woeful because we weren't great. And then there was the Collingwood game. So, look, Trev, definitely it's not all doom and gloom, but, geez, I'd be a lot happier if, we played a bit more like we did against Richmond. Even though we got beaten by 4 goals against Richmond, that was a good game. That was a really good game.
It was a good game. Certainly for the season opener, I think that gave us all a shitload of hope.
Yep.
In that
the hype train was on express.
Yeah, that train had gone
straight to Parkville.
Yeah.
And somehow derailed since.
Yeah. Look, and there's been loads of good fun jokes about the train derailing, which I think we all saw that.
Yeah. Look,
but let's be clear, we're still on the train.
100%
we're still on the train. We're not jumping off, but it's just funny.
Yeah. It's absolutely funny. And if you don't laugh, you cry, and I've done enough crying.
Hey, they say that laughing is a coping mechanism, and it works for me.
Yeah, sure does.
I know, and when we talk about the Rude Lid nominations, a lot of it came from, in the second half of the game, because it was a bit shit. You're kind of like, oh, look at all these Port Adelaide players.
Ugly Port Adelaide players. My God.
They got some rough nuts.
I'm not a good-looking rooster, but
wow.
There's some terrible-looking boys.
So we got some really good nominations later on.
Yep.
McGovern and Casbolt forward don't work together, says Blake. Murphy has lost it. Players out of position, need a lot of changes.
Yeah, a lot of changes need to happen, definitely. I think we've sort of really touched on that, and you're certainly not off the mark. Levi, was it Levi and McGovern? No, look, I don't necessarily think so either. I think with a few more games together, Harry and Gov could work a little better. Even though they did get in, there was a funny one. What was it, in the start of the second quarter, someone bombed it nice and deep, and Gov was running with the flight of the ball. Harry was coming. The pair of them couldn't communicate. The ball got dropped. The Benny Hill music sung around the MCG. So not a lot of communication. But I mean, it's going to happen. Gov hasn't played in the ones for quite some time.
No.
So. But yeah, no. Look, it's a
when
great...
you think we've given players the likes of Dow, Setters, Willow chances, and Gov's come back in off long-term injury. I think he deserves a bit of a reprieve, I guess.
I think what Blake was saying probably. Well, I don't want to put words in his mouth either, but Gov and Casbolt don't really work. I don't necessarily think so either. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if Levi's best position is centre half forward while Gov and H are there, and then you throw in JSOS as well if fit. So yeah,
half the problem is we're a little bit thin on the forward line at the minute.
Yeah. And Levi's dead lucky. I reckon Levi's dead lucky.
Well,
he's not playing his quality footy.
So Liam, our mate Liam, says kick straight or drop to the Ressies. Look, I don't think it's rocket science, really. Everyone talks about structure and coaching, and just fucking kick the ball straight.
Yeah. Imagine being paid upwards of $500,000 a year to kick a footy
and you're a
target
donkey with the footy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it beggars belief.
Yeah.
Brett says Walsh is the only one that looked pissed off after the loss.
Yeah, he looked salty, didn't he?
Yeah, very salty.
Yeah, and you want to see that. You want to see them hurting, and that's why I jumped down Plough's throat after the Collingwood game to see him laugh, whether it was taken out of context or not, having a laugh with old mate Grundy. You don't want to see play. You want to see players hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Walsh gives his all. He gets slammed regularly. He doesn't necessarily have a locked tag like what Cripps does sometimes, but he gets slammed and he really fights. So yeah, he's not missing it out.
Yeah. Blake O'Halloran says Stocker and Cunningham in. And who do they come in for?
They're definitely coming in.
Yeah.
And Ramsey as well.
Ramsey, I reckon?
Yeah. No. Ramsey's torn up 2 games absolutely beautifully. One of them for mine, Cunningham or Ramsey goes as the sub, and then Dow comes out altogether because you can't. That's what gives me the shits. I mean, you drop Dow because he's not performing, and then make him the sub. He's not getting a game in the twos. He's not sitting on the bench. He's not doing anything. No. So if you drop a bloke out of the side, just drop him and bring somebody else who might not be, quite a walk up for the ones. Make them the sub. So I reckon Cunners for mine is the sub. Comes in, and Stocker and Ramsey.
Yeah,
definitely the 3 minimums. Yeah, yep.
We had a good squad, but there weren't the right matchups or right positions. I'm not sure about that one.
Look, whether they were the right matchups or positions, I don't. I mean, I said to you in one of the messages, we could have had Dusty Martin, Nat Fyfe, and Gary Ablett Senior out there. They weren't going to get the job done. There was just not enough heart and soul in that performance. So,
no. And look, one of the things I noticed, whenever it got down to their 50, there was no one there. Like.
Of us.
No.
Yeah.
And there was a few times I was like,
that real intercept game just disappeared on us.
Yeah, I was like, where the fuck are they? And I noticed that forget which quarter it was, but Doc's tried really hard to stop. He was the only one there
against Robbie Gray.
Yeah, and I mean he still conceded a goal, but I mean he was the only one there trying to stop the ball.
Yeah.
Well, no one was stopping it getting into their 50, but he was the only person in their 50 that could stop it going through the sticks.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah. Yeah. So who else we got with us?
He's decided to go to Kalgoorlie this way.
That happens. Doesn't it, George? If you're watching. You're still on your way home to Subi, mate. You got lost, did you, mate? Or no, you realised how lovely Rockingham is and you stayed.
Or the wheels of his car got pinched.
That could happen too. Look forward to catching up with you again soon, mate, and watching the footy, and hopefully it's with a win next time round.
Hopefully I can join you next time.
Yeah. So, g'day, George. I'm no good at that. Thanks for joining us. Teager's lost. Why did he put Walshy centre half forward? Third quarter, lost his run. He went out of game.
It's a really, really good point. Really, really good point. I mean, there's been a lot of people talking about has Teague got it from a strategy point of view. Look, I don't know personally. I don't, but definitely that is a solid point, George, because he did sort of go a little bit cold in the third quarter. He was absolutely on fire for the first half.
Maybe he just had the shits. Like the rest of us.
I suppose he's got to have a rest, and maybe they put him at centre half forward because that was where because with reduced rotations and longer game time this year, they got to rest sometimes. So instead of dragging them off and wasting a substitution, rest them in the forward line. That's what it is. Problem was the ball wasn't going down there very much, George. So you're right. It's definitely not a great decision to let him go cold in the forward line. But yeah, that's the only thing I can think of that would be logical.
Yeah. Anthony Walsh, thanks for joining us, mate. With 2-3, we have a chance to square up the win-loss ratio. We do this week.
We do. And as I said a little bit earlier with Trev's comment, I'd have no issues to lick my wounds and be done with it today. If we'd showed a little bit more in the previous 3 games. Because I play a lot of golf, right? And I'm off an 18 handicap. So essentially, if I hit too many bogeys in a row, I know I'm closer to a double bogey than a par or a birdie. And that's what it started to feel like with Carlton. We were winning the games. We were getting those pars, but you just knew it was either going to go real bad or a little bit better, and she went real fucking bad. She shanked 3 balls off the tee straight into the drink, and that was good night, Irene. Yeah.
I'd love to hear from everyone. At what point did they lose interest in the game on Saturday? I think for mine, I was at the pub. It was probably at the end of the third quarter. I knew deep down we were cooked.
Whether it was completely out of range on the scoreboard, but we knew that we're.
But I did, sort of hope that we could come back in the fourth. And halfway through the fourth, I went, no, we're cooked.
Shots of tequila.
And I think that's when I really started to enjoy the $8 points. Brett Klassen, Teague needs to get mean. Yeah, he needs to grow a big, steely set.
Yeah, massive set.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
David Shinilda, too soft. Yep. I've seen teenage girls play harder than that. Tackle more, kick straighter.
A lot of the girls go harder than that. Yeah, you want to see them when they play. They chuck their bodies in, heart and soul. All everything goes in. Toasters, everything's in. Kitchen sinks, you name it. Everything goes into their performance, and it really didn't show.
No,
it really didn't show.
No, not at all. Brett, he needs to sit the players down, look them in the eye and say who the hell here is playing for the jumper, and ask them to their face, put them on the spot. Yeah, that's what I want.
That's like an intervention style. I like that. Yeah, make it not just I'm going to abuse you bastards because you're a shit. Let's get them in on it. Yeah.
And I think that leads to Simone's moan quite That's a good segue.
It's a great segue. Yep. What have you got there?
Some of you may have seen my absolute silk on Facebook. But what I would love the boys to hear is that there's a whole current generation of people that have never witnessed glory at Carlton. They may have seen a win, they may have seen a great goal, and that sort of stuff.
We had one good final series, but that was it.
That's right. So I guess this is a new segment, Simone's Moan.
Yep.
Here we go. 26 years, fellas, since we saw the great club we all hunger for. 26 years. That's more than a generation. My eldest daughter is 19, the same age I was in 95. When asked why they barrack for Carlton, her and all my kids say, because our family do. They don't have the nostalgia to draw upon to say, because we're a great powerhouse, strong, successful club. They grew up in WA and they got bullied for supporting Carlton. And two of my kids did defect for a couple of years until, remember that win at Subi?
Yeah.
And they came straight back in the fold, thankfully. Throughout the past 26 years, I've been patient, you've been patient, we've all been patient. We've seen glimpses of hope during that time, but on and off field, adverse activities and decisions have dashed our hopes time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for me to be patient. I was born in the 70s. I can reflect on the former glory. I can get by knowing that we were great and there's hope. This generation right now, my children, your children, his children, adults, young adults, all they know is losses. All they know is a poor win-loss ratio. We will lose a lot of supporters. We will lose them. They will lose interest. They don't have the nostalgia to draw upon to say everything will be okay. All they've got is tough. They were born into a Carlton family, and whilst they're staunch supporters, the real authentic belief isn't in their system yet. I'm no longer patient. To be honest, I'm sad. I'm sad for my kids. I'm sad for this current generation who were served up this time and time again. We now have more depth than we've had for a long time. We've got some of the best in the business and high draft picks galore, but we still can't string together more than 2 wins in a row. Yes, we've got a huge injury list. Yes, we're rebuilding again. Yes, we're staying the course. But for the love of the jumper and its current generation of supporters, we hunger for more on-field success. There cannot be any more excuses. Supporters have been faithful in raising the next generation of supporters. They deserve to experience the joys that come from being part of the Carlton Blues fold. Enough is enough. I want to see 22 players next week and every week thereafter playing for us. And that's my moan.
Yep. Well said. It was a good moan. We just need the Caroline Wilson's tap of the paper there. No, well said, Simo. I was 100% right. We're not getting what we desire at the moment from the players. So
yeah,
yep, you're definitely right. You definitely want to see Tiggy bloody play Simone's moan to the players.
Yeah, enough's enough. My kids are 19. Well, my eldest is 19. They have no idea of the rich, successful history that we have, except for the stories that we all tell them.
Yeah, which we do because it's all we've got.
Because that's all they got.
Yeah.
But pretty soon our kids are going to become parents. They need to have stories of their own to pass on to their kids.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we may see a whole generation of supporters jump off.
Yeah. Let's get to some comments there.
All right. So thanks, Mick Brazil. Carlton Football Club has lost its culture. It's gone. The current players are unsure what the old Carlton was like. Absolutely.
100%.
No old heads are at the club. No mongrel in the playing group. The way they train, apparently, of pathetic. It all comes back to culture. Yeah,
it does. Yeah, and we said it a couple of weeks ago when the Buzz was on the boys' show, and you met Buzz during the week. How nice was that? But we need to get Buzz or somebody in there
to rip through him and go, who are you playing for?
You fuckers are absolutely lost it. No culture, as has been mentioned here. What's his name there?
Mick Brazil.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No culture. It's gone. We need to get somebody old school, some of the old Lygon heavies to get in there and give these players what for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know that Simo's moan's gonna 100% cut it, but we'll maybe just pair that with a Pizzazzo or a Sticks or somebody else going in there and tearing it a new one.
Well, I mean, from our perspective, Frank, because we're brother and sister, if you haven't already caught up on that, but we come.
I know I'm the better looking one.
I'm the smarter one. But we come from a family of 100 years of Carlton supporters.
Yeah.
So I think you could probably understand where I'm coming from, where I'm really, really sad for this current generation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we can't stay there forever, but
we need to get out.
When your name is Simone, you kind of go, do you know what? There's a segment there.
Yeah.
Simone's moan.
Simone's moan.
Heath Buck, thanks for joining us, mate. Lol, I like this show. Good stuff.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, we like you too.
Yeah, of course we do.
Right, I've scrolled down too far.
Oh, you've cooked it again. Every time, man. Every time.
Too many passengers, says Phil Axe.
Definitely, Phil. A lot of players looked like they were just looking at the next bloke, and the next bloke just happened to be Walsh, and they're saying, geez, can you carry us because we're going nowhere fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every player was just like, geez, someone else has got to get it done because I'm not. And unfortunately, you can't have 18 blokes on the field, 22 blokes in the side, looking at each other going, who's getting it done because it's not me, because then nothing's fucking getting done. Yeah, absolutely. Way too many passengers there, Phil.
Yeah, yeah. Anthony Walsh, Port counter-punched our goals with 2. We'd miss a sitter and they'd bang on goals. That's very true.
Yep.
14 misses.
Yeah.
14.
And Alia started a lot of it. I mean, I must say, I didn't watch a lot of the Sydney games or, many of the Port games since Alia moved there, but he was just everywhere. We were just dumping him long, and there was instances on some of the other footy shows where they showed you a vision where Murph, burnt off 2 players that were an easy handball, and he's just dumping it long, and then there's Alia 6'29", jumping an extra 4 foot and taking big marks, and then just rebounding, and we just had to put a stop to that. I mean, I said that Port's defence was going to, Alia's defence was going to really help them, and we just had nothing. Just had nothing. But
you're quite right. Who else we got? Steve Keating, playing kids and 12 changes, not the answer. I kind of agree, mate. I don't want to see this rotating door of ins and outs every week. I don't think that's the answer. I think I've made it pretty clear what my answer is that they need to think about who they're playing for, and if they can't kick straight, learn how to. Can I just say someone that shouldn't kick the goal, and I'm probably going to have people coming at me with pitchforks with this is Cripper.
No one's coming at you with pitchforks on that one. He's somehow inherited Levi's knee because he's not kicking them very well at all.
Just on that, I was talking about asking the players who they're playing for. Who's Cripper playing for? I just get this sense of selfish footy at the minute. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I don't know whether it's necessarily selfish footy, but I think with Cripper, he's still got a little bit of mentality from maybe not so much last year, maybe the year before, where it's him getting it done. He's the one that's picking four blokes up and carrying them all over the line, which is what he's done for years. He still has, I reckon, that's not selfish. That's him, looking at himself going, I've got to get this done, otherwise it's not getting done. But it's not the case anymore. I think we've got enough players that he can delegate to, as what a good leader does, and then we can get it done that way. Like I said, I see what you're saying, 100% valid point. Maybe it's not so much selfish, but maybe it's a little bit sort of the wrong mentality, as if, I'm the only one that can get it done because he's got years of experience of being the only one that can get it done. So
true.
Definitely a valid point. And well picked up, I think, is definitely that. He just needs to sort of trust a few other blokes. They've got some good players, as you rightly said. On paper, we looked a good side, and we're going to take it right to them.
There's no reason why we did, why we couldn't.
No.
Who else we got? Jacob D. Paver. Play our best side. Thanks for joining us, mate. Play our best side until we can't make finals, and play the kids. They're in our best 22. Play them regardless of age.
And that's not a bad point either. That sort of speaks to your not throwing the baby out with the bathwater thing, because while you're still in contention to play a final or two, you got to play your best 22.
Yep.
It just so happens that some of the kids in the twos are in the best 22. But definitely don't. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. That's a good point.
Yeah. Philax says Teague needs to make a statement, drop a big number of players. Yeah,
and that's why I said earlier, I'm on the fence. I don't necessarily know. I mean, I'm happy either way, but like you said, as long as we're playing for the right reasons, it doesn't matter what you do. Whether you do make wholesale changes or whether you drop 2 or 3, because we can't go in unchanged. There's definitely a couple of people getting dropped, but I'm on the fence. I don't normally like being on the fence, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably lean more towards wholesale changes than not just to prove a point.
I want to see the culture changed. We can't keep making quick fixes all the time. That's not helping.
Yeah, it's not. But it may be the one to drive that culture change.
Next 4 weeks makes or breaks us. If we lose all games, Teague is gone. Look, I don't want to go down the whole track if Teague is gone.
Yeah,
I don't want that. I'm still very, very much on the Teague train, albeit it's derailed. I do think he's the right man for the job. I just think he needs to grow a medal set.
Yeah, big old set of balls.
Yeah. A week is a long time in footy. If we can get the win this week, Teague will be praised by all. And I completely agree, Anthony. I haven't lost faith in Teague. I think it's a culture issue that we're seeing. And maybe he just needs to get, I don't know, drink more fluids or something, so more spittle flies out his mouth when he's shouting. I don't know. Who else? What else have we got there, Frank?
I know you're driving this.
Yeah, I'm very slow at it. If Cripps kicked that goal at the start, we would have had a better mindset. Absolutely agreed.
That could almost be comment of the day, I reckon.
Yeah.
Because the shoulders, I mean, I know my shoulders dropped, and I'm just a fan, but imagine half the side see him miss a sitter from 30 metres out on a slight angle, the shoulders drop. The momentum's gone. The momentum's absolutely sucked out of you then.
Yeah.
And it's hard to come back from. That's a great call.
Yeah.
Absolutely
very,
fantastic.
very good call.
Yeah.
Paul Lazzarini says, out Betts, Murph and SPS. I'm not sold on Betts. I can hear where you're coming from. Betts had 9 contested possessions and score involvement of 5.
Betts still brings more.
He still brings a lot to the game.
Yeah, off the ball, I think he does a lot more than what
we see.
What we see, but what happens, you know what I mean? He's his pressure around the ball, like any time Eddie Betts is around the forward line, nipping at the defenders, they're packing darkies, mate. The ball bounces the wrong way and they shit themselves. And he has the X factor. I don't think Eddie Betts, Murph, he hasn't been terrible, but he's definitely in my out. Betts stays in.
Look, I think we all know that Murph's hanging around for his 300th. And I saw a really good comment earlier because he is still crucial to the team. But if we allow him to get to his 300th, that could be something that changes a little bit of the culture in the kids. You know, when those kids are just getting started, the big solid achievements can be so far away until you're right there with somebody who's achieved it. Could that be actually a positive for some of the youngsters?
Yeah, well, yes and no.
We don't want to carry him.
Yes and no, because
but he's still doing. He's still having. As I keep saying to you, he's still relevant.
He is still relevant, yeah, definitely. But I don't know whether we do, see what's relevant and what else is getting done. I mean, yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, even like Levi, Levi probably needs a spell, but at the same time, he was, one of our better players.
Yeah.
So, and Murph's like that as well. He's just doing enough to not get dropped. But I think, as one of the other viewers commented earlier, that you just got to send a message. I think it's just time to send a message and say, right, this is,
have a week off.
Don't want to necessarily make Murph the scapegoat, but we have to make a couple of changes. The kids have to come in. So, So for mine, definitely Murph's out for mine. Willow's the other one.
Willow's out.
And then for me, Dow probably out of the 23, and like I said, Cunners comes in as a sub.
Yeah, I like that. Brett would like to see Williamson play Doc's role. Doc moved to the middle. Actually, I like that. Although Willow's got to go, but I like the idea of Doc moving forward.
Yeah. I like the idea of Doc moving up the ground, especially if Sard's doing really well across the half-back line. The other one is SPS, because we also want to see SPS up the ground. But
because he's in the wrong spot down the back.
Yeah. We've got a lot of players. We've got so many players playing out of position now. I don't like that as an excuse, because you still have to give something. I mean, playing out of positions, but it's still a game of football. So you still got to kick right. You got to take marks. You got to stop your opponent. So playing players out of position's an excuse, and I don't necessarily buy into it too much. But
Fogarty has been the best recruit, absolutely. For the cost, packet of chips and a can of Coke.
So far,
he's an absolute ripper.
And Sard and Williams have the potential to join him as the best recruit or surpass. But at this stage, no, 100% great call.
Although for the weekend, my best three was obviously Walsh, Williams, and Levi. So Williams was
snap, because they were mine three as well.
Oh well, good one. Who knew?
I was expecting. High five.
I was expecting a fight. So, who's your best top three, guys? We'd love to hear it.
Just chuck them in there.
Tell us what you think. Right. No chance against Brisbane. What do we got?
He's trolling. It's a funny comment. The Spud Shed has better spuds than Carlton. He's trolling, but that's a good one.
That's we'll pay that.
Yeah. For anyone over East that are watching, we got Tony Gallardi, who's the Spud King in WA. And he owns a chain of shops called the Spud Shed. It's fantastic. Very good.
Nice one. Love it. We genuinely kicked it to our opposition. Absolutely agree.
Those dump kicks were coming in thick and fast, and the Lear was all over it like blood on rice.
Yeah. I think there was about 30 players that played for Port Adelaide last week, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right. Who else we got? Chris Broberg, thanks for joining us, mate. It was like watching a train wreck or a really bad nightmare. Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah, it was one of those.
It was putrid.
Freddy Krueger nightmares.
It was putrid.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Thanks for joining us, Brent. Hope you're going well, mate. I don't understand how we still don't rock up to games. It's ridiculous. So predictable going forward on Harry's head when he's outnumbered. Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It is frustrating. It is soul destroying. It's depressing.
And imagine being Harry, because he's trying to go one out and he ends up 3 onto 1, and
he's getting mobbed.
He's getting smashed,
and he hasn't got his teammates helping him out.
No, not at all. And the dunk kicks that are coming in aren't helping him out either.
No, because he's just mobbed.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, if Harry's getting mobbed 2 onto 1 or 3 onto 1 or whatever, the dunk kicks aren't helping. But then, don't go to him at all. Let him take the 2. That means someone else nearby is without a man. So, sometimes Harry will take on for the team, and if he's getting mobbed 3 on 1, then another bloke's getting off the leash, and whether it's Gov, whether it's Levi, one of the other fellas is going to be on their own. So try and lower the eyes and hit up someone else, because it's not working just dumping it on H's head.
Yeah, H, try and get this with about 15 blokes on you.
An extra 200 kilos hanging off you.
Yeah.
You're joking.
Trev says, so many of us hoped we would make finals this year. That means finishing 8 as a minimum. Game against Port suggests we are 28 points off last year's minor premiers. Is that just an accurate reflection of our development?
I'm just trying to work out Pythagoras theorem.
What the fuck does that mean?
What does that mean, Trev?
I think he gets goose of the week for that. You're up for nomination,
so
Trev.
many of us, I definitely hoped we would play finals.
I don't go.
I don't get it. No,
Can you break that down into picture graphs or something?
Come on, get some crayons going. It's an accurate reflection of our development.
Frank didn't pass kindy. He doesn't know.
No, I'm just a tradie. Look, it's not an accurate. I don't reckon it is an accurate reflection of our development.
No,
because we're really, the way we've played the last 3 or 4 games, we're a lot worse than 28 points off last year's minor premiers. We've been a bit lucky, so definitely we could just as easily be 0-5 at the moment. The way we've played this year, we could just as easily be winless.
I must admit, and I think this is in keeping with what Trev was saying. Like we still tried, I guess, because I remember. In the 4th, initially I'm thinking, we could still catch up. And then sort of halfway through, I was like, well, all I can hope for now is that they close the gap.
Yeah.
And they did. Yeah. All right, hold on. We've got Brent answering Trev. Maybe they've broken it down into picture graphs. I didn't think the scoreboard reflected.
We haven't got ourselves in glory here, have we?
No idea. Oh, Brent Sturman. I'm into the moan. Cheers, Brent.
Don't worry about the picture graph story.
It's all about the Simone.
She's getting her ego stroked. Yeah, on
there. G'day. Hold on. G'day, Colin Prigg. Thanks for joining us. Hey guys, one of the most frustrating outcomes this year is the lack of development from the draft and the lack of consistency. I was at the game. Our kicking was the worst I've ever seen. It was woeful.
You're not going to get an argument out of me.
I think we're all with you, mate.
Kicking was poor. And as I said,
very well said.
For players getting paid top dollar to kick a ball, I mean, I know it means more to us than that, but when you break it down, they keep calling it their profession.
Yeah.
Fucking not doing it right.
Chris says, 95 last won a premiership as I started barracking for Carlton Blues when we won the 87 granny. As I actually went to the 95 premiership.
Oh, yes.
I'm very jealous, Chris.
Yeah.
Last time we won, as haven't seen another one since, and now we're in 2021. We did play in 99, and we lost to North of all. Hasn't things gone pear-shaped?
Yeah.
Our cousin Steve is on there. Love it, Moni. On you. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Was that a bit of the Wiggles?
I don't know what it was.
Big red card
but
job there,
whatever.
donkey. Very good. But the cuz loves it, so that's all that matters.
Look, we might have to keep this Simone segment going.
Yeah, well, you give the people what they want.
Right.
They like a bit of the moan.
Yeah, a bit of the moan.
Bit of the moan.
Yeah. Oh, yep. Could get a bit rude.
Oh, don't ever do that again.
Ever.
Not in your life.
Yeah. All right. So where are we?
Straighten yourself up, mate.
I thought it was Utah. 14 misses. Absolutely. Like, that's how many goals we missed. Yeah. When you look at the results and how many goals we missed, we were in contention against Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
We just couldn't fucking kick straight.
I love some of the ones that have said, we had more scoring shots, so we were trying. Having more scoring shots doesn't help when you're missing.
No,
most of
no.
them, so.
You can have plenty of shots, but you got to kick straight, donkey.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I think we must be nearly getting ready for Rude Lid, Frank.
I reckon it's time.
All right. Yeah. So those of you first watching our show, every week we do the Rude Lid thing. What we'd like to ask you guys to do is keep an eye on your mates during the week and your family. If they're getting around with the Rude Lid, send it in.
Yep.
They'll be up for a nomination.
Yeah, we'll get it in. It doesn't have to be AFL players or people on the telly.
Rude Lid.
Yep.
All right. So I'm going to throw up a graphic here. So there are 3, like I mentioned, with the second half of the game against Port Adelaide, I couldn't help but noticing the roughness at the top of these kids' heads.
Oh, man.
So let's, we've got 3 people up for Rude Lid award this week. Shoot us through your comments. Who gets it?
Who's getting Rude Lid of the week? Yeah.
So we've got Lockie Jones, Darcy Byrne-Jones, and Scott Lysett. There's some really good-looking roosters there.
For me, it's definitely the odd-shaped mo of a weird-ass head of Scott Lysett for mine. He's not a good-looking fella whatsoever. He's not getting it done.
Oh, no, I don't know about DVJ. He was a nomination during the game by Liam Casey.
Yeah.
Full-blown 80s perm going on at the back.
You had a hairstyle like
that. Give us your nominations, guys. Yeah. Who's got the Rude Lid?
Who's getting it done?
Thanks, Brent. We got one for Lysett. We've got another one for Lysett from Mum.
Looks like I win again. So I won last week's one. Yeah, I'm going to win it again.
Look,
hang on the money, Frank.
All right, so I think Lysett gets the Rude Lid.
Yeah.
Rude Lid.
So they're all going to go into a
this week.
Bit of a draw at the end of the year. We'll have a bit of a laugh and give someone Rude Lid of the year. So that'll be a bit of fun.
Yeah, we'll have to.
At least I'll think so.
We'll have to come up with some sort of cheap and nasty trophy for that. So
we'll send it to them.
Stay tuned. All right, so that leads us into
last one.
Goose of the week. So I also want to ask you guys. This is very important, actually. There are gooses everywhere you look. You know yourself, you're scrolling through Facebook, and there's someone that said something stupid, and you're like, oh, for God's sake. Could be me, could be Frank.
Probably is Simone.
Could be one of your mates. Dob them in.
Yep.
Send in a picture, get them on screenshot, get the evidence. Makes it more funny.
Yeah.
And then come Monday, they'll be up for a Goose of the Week nomination. And
where did our comments go?
Oh, I'll have to find them again.
Because people, they'd be chucking their nominations up.
Oh, yeah. All
right. Let's go.
So, anyway, again, at the end of the year, the Goose of the Week, we'll get some sort of shit contraption like this. So, you know, it's a very valuable.
I didn't think our goose would make it back up last week because we thought it was going to be funny. We pulled it off.
And it's so not
terrible. But fuck it, to come back.
So we've got a few Goose of the Week nominations this week. We've got some beauties. And one of the ones I just wanted to share with you guys, something extremely, well, look, let's just put it up there. So as we know, ScoMo and Matthias Cormann were at Optus Stadium this week.
Yep.
And
they're enjoying some full strength free beers.
Yeah, and old ScoMo was like, how good's the free beer at Optus? Yeah. Meanwhile, everyone else is paying $15 for half a cup.
Half a cup of mid-strength.
Yeah. But one of the greatest things I think I saw was someone posted Morris's head in his private booth 10 minutes ago on the big screen at Optus Stadium. Everybody booed. Never been prouder to be West Australia.
Yeah. But there's one nomination for Goose. It could almost be a nomination for Rutherford as well, really.
Yeah, look, that was one of my highlights of the week. I love that. Yeah. So he's up for Goose of the Week. Who else is up for Goose of the Week, Frank?
I had to chuck one in there. I mean, we didn't go so well, but the filth, they went even worse. Fuck those guys. But definitely Nathan Buckley, their best defender they've had for a number of years. Slung him forward against one of the better forward lines going around. Yeah, okay, Darcy Moore snagged a couple of goals, in junk time, but Oscar Allen kicked 5, Jack Darling kicked 5. There was another 2 or 3 from Kennedy and a few others from West Coast. You can't be putting your Rolls-Royce defender in the forward line and then having wet toast just go bang, bang, bang and destroy your whole team. So Nathan Buckley is definitely going to go close. Absolute donut.
Yeah.
Fuck that one up. So Nathan Buckley's definitely going in there for Goose.
Yeah, no, he should. I think he should get a nomination every week.
Yeah, just because he's
until they sack him.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, that's always good fun, seeing Collingwood supporters calling out for Buckley's head every week.
Wouldn't that be good?
So, another one that's up for Goose of the Week is all of us, really, for having the expectations that we had on the weekend.
Yeah, I feel like we all deserve a bit of a goose gong because we thought we were going to tear Port a new one, and we bloody didn't.
Nowhere near it. So all of us fans, we get a nomination for Goose of the Week for having expectations.
And the players, collectively, the players are getting a gong. Don't even worry about that.
Yeah, because they can't kick straight.
No, they can't kick straight.
Yeah,
absolutely terrible. So there's a Goose nomination there for the players.
Absolutely. And another one that gets it is Charlie Curnow.
Why Charlie?
Because he's injured and he's not playing and we need him.
He played a game of basketball 3 years ago and he's still paying for it. Yep, very cool.
And the final, another nomination we've got. Oh, hello.
There it is.
We've got a couple of nominations coming in.
Yeah.
Trevor Wallard, yes. He's definitely a good nomination for Goose of the Week, especially for that comment earlier. That required Pythagoras theorem. I don't have enough crowns for that.
Made us look like dickheads.
Probably because we are. Look, we'll wear it.
Yeah. Very good.
Howe and DeGoey both in hot water. Is that a nomination? What are we doing?
I'm not entirely sure, but they're terrible Collingwood scum, so I think they injured them. They both got injured.
Okay. Is that what that's about? All right. So let us hear your thoughts. Who gets Goose of the Week, guys? And in the meantime, how do we beat Brisbane next week?
We turn up. Yeah, just look at the jumper that you put on before you put it on, and that's right.
Yeah.
Some more people care about this shit than just me. So
yeah.
Let's go out and give them a decent show for their money.
Absolutely.
We can go. Brisbane aren't going that well this year. I mean, they've had a good win, but they're not going exceptionally well. So we can bounce back. Whether we do the wholesale changes, whether we just do a couple of changes, look, we can all joke about it and have our say. But at the end of the day, if the 22 plus the sub turn up with the heart that and the love for the jumper, then we'll go.
And if they do it, more importantly, if they do it for us, the fans,
And if they stop kicking with their kneecaps, that would fucking help.
I think I like David Thomason's idea of how we beat Brisbane, and that's score more than them.
Yeah. But
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So, right, who's...
Oh, okay, yeah, righto. We get the point now. How and Degoe with banned mobile phones.
Ah, they're just trying to get their Goose of the Week nominations in. That's all.
Yeah,
that's all. Don't do that.
All right, so we might wrap this up. What do you want?
Who's getting Goose?
Who's getting Goose?
It's got to be ScoMo.
It's got to be ScoMo.
ScoMo and
Matthias.
And Matthias Cormann looking like absolute cabbages at the footy.
Yeah.
Drinking free beer, probably full strength as well, being in the upstairs. God, you're going to be joking. Piss off. So, yeah. So there's some bits. What else have we got there? Anyone else? Who else has got some nominations? How in Degoe? Yeah. So what's happened with How in Degoe? Has anything come of that with the mobile phones bit? Not haven't seen anything new come of that. So yeah. What have I done here? All right. Simone's left me, everyone, so give me a sec. I'm a bit lost. We're going to stare at the ScoMo for a little bit longer. All right. Well, I'm gonna hang it up now. Thanks everyone for jumping on. Loved all your comments. Great stuff. We'll get your nominations in next time. We'll see you later on. Take it easy, guys.
Hold on.
It's gone. What have we done?
We need to remove that. Where'd it go? There we go. So catch you later, guys. I think Frank wrapped this up pretty good.
He didn't at all. not even remotely. So
I had to sneak off. But yeah, I think we've got Goose of the Week.
Next week's Goose of the Week sorted already.
Mick says Goose of the Week should be tagged because of his press conference and referring to shit stats that mean nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I'm winning that next week. Don't worry about that. I'll just put my name on it now.
Now, I think...
To be fair, though, you bailed on me with absolutely no warning.
No.
You left ScoMo up in the middle there. I tried to fuck around and get rid of him so that I don't know if I'm getting Goose or you.
Maybe you can't drive it.
Maybe the pair of us.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, guys. Look, all we can do is really laugh and hope for a better result next week.
A bit better turnout, yeah.
Look, and poor Trev, he's not winning the Goose of the Week. Eventually he might.
Eventually he will. If he's getting nominated, so he came close with his... And look, his comment really proved that I'm a dick and so are you, because, you know, we didn't work out what he said.
I don't have enough crayons.
I don't even know how to drive this live stream bit, so...
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Terrible.
All right, thanks, guys. And, yeah, thanks, Mick. We'll see you guys next Monday. We're on around about 7:30 Western time, which is 9:30 Eastern. And, yeah, we'll have a chat next week. Hopefully we're up and about and have got some exciting things to say.
Yeah, cool.
All right, have a great week and go Blues.